Okay, so you're probably wondering how Bunny works. So let's get down to basics. Her two most important skills, Speed of Light and Lightning Emission. What they do, Speed of Light, you press your 2, and it gives you a supercharge of your ability custom resource at the bottom, the little glowy resource under the mana. And it gives a 50% movement buff along with a FOV or field of view increase. That's all it does. And then what the lightning emission does is when you press it, every 7 meters it'll activate a little thing that does damage. So how do we get this maxed? You have to travel 7 meters as fast as you can. And then after that, we need to increase our power as much as we can. So what do? We cap out our sprint speed through to Secret Garden. So sprint speed 20, 20, 20, and then Arche tuning. There's 7 right here. So you cap out your movement speed. Where is it? Sprint speed. See, I'm not wearing Secret Garden. As soon as I equip it, our movement speed goes from 853 to 1300. Okay, so the way this works is you move forward no matter what you do, even if you press your 2, the 50% buff of your speed, it does not increase it, it just increases your field of view. That is why the field of view is so important. It looks like you're increasing your speed, but you're not. It just pushes the camera back. That's why I have my FOV maxed. I love the feeling of speed. So you don't exactly need all three 20% cores. You need to get your sprint speed to 62%. It caps out a little bit under 61% or under 62%. So you need 62% to cap out. So you can do that with, Arche tuning gives 7%, and then, so you need at least 2 sprint speed cores that have 18%, and 1 that has 19%, and then the Arche tuning has 7, so you just can cap it out with that. You might ask, why are we going through all this trouble when we could just activate Speed of Light? Well, you don't use MP, you don't have to get any of the MP substats, you don't have to have the skill cost reduction of the skill cost reduction module, or the skill power reduction of the skill cost reduction module. You don't need it just doesn't use MP, so you don't need the skill cost reductions, you don't need all that stuff, so it just feels way better. This is why I'm saying it's the best build. So let's go over why we don't need maximize range. So maximize range, it gives a where is it? It gives like a negative 20% skill power modifier. So that would debuff us by, let's see, the modifier on it is 150% almost. So that would debuff our damage by like a 1/9 of our skill power. So it's not worth it. And there's an alternative. You can use skill effect range, and you can use a skill effect range on your reactor, and then you can get the skill effect range right here inside of Arche tuning. So this is almost 35% range there. So I am way over just by doing this. So you're probably wondering, since this build is no MP, what would you do if you need MP and you don't have the running cores, you don't have a Arche tree? You'd need to take off one of your HP modules, go skill cost reduction, maximize range, since you need the range, and you take off skill, this would be a negative 20% skill power modifier. This one has that too. And then you need to put on NP collector. And then when you run around, you will have like almost a third less damage than if you have this. And the other downside is that you need to have MP rolls on this one, this one, this one. One of these has 2. The sensor has 2. So you need max MP out of combat, max MP in combat, and max MP recovery, I think. So you need all 3 of those, and then you'd prefer and like singular skill power on this reactor. So for speed, you'd have the 50% from speed of light. It would not be always active, and that's it. It's like 12% away from the speed cap though. Okay, let's go over Bunny's Transcendent modules. So electric charge is the best one. See, when I jump, it does 115,000 damage. Without it, I am doing 20,000. So that is the best mod out of all of them. So let's go over superconductor. And then blemish. Okay, I am getting 122,000 damage. Let's take it off. I am doing 122,000. So I am doing the exact same amount of damage. Almost. So let's go over high voltage. It increases the range and damage of both throw bomb and lightning emission. The range on lightning emission changes from 21 to 27 at max, and I think it's the same for throw bomb. But the thing that changes with this is that you can only hit 3 enemies at once. Let's see the damage. Okay, so we are hitting 188 from 122 or 23. So that is like a, how much is that? That's like a 50% increase in damage. Pretty good. But you can only strike 3. This got power creeped into oblivion when they started making it where enemies spawn in the like hundreds every like 10 seconds in a mission. Let's go over electric transition. So this is, it gets rid of Bunny's custom resource during speed of light. It like decreases it, but it recovers shield in proportion to the distance you travel. So that's not practical. I mean, I could see it practical if you use bionic fuel, but you can't use 2 transcendent mods together. So what electric condense does is when you press it, it improves your movement speed by 20%, and after 5 seconds it explodes and does damage in proportion to the amount of charge you have on your thing. So see that? I do like 1,000,000 damage after I run, and it does damage in proportion to how charged you are. So I did 1.7 million damage there. This is just highly impractical in a mission. I don't know when you'd use it. Like the last dagger, just look at this. You could take the last dagger instead. The timer and the split screen is just me testing out editing. Okay, when you start, you press your 2, and then you start running real fast, and then once you get enough to activate your 3, then you can just cancel it and kill some enemies, and you'll get your custom resources from that. Again, the 2 looks like it's making you go faster, but it's just a FOV increase. I purposely didn't use the last dagger in the boss fight because I wanted it to be purely based on Bunny's power. Okay, so what I learned from this is that Bunny is not an efficient bosser with just the AoE if you're in a team. So you will want to bring a weapon like the last dagger that just does millions of damage every second. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and comment if this helped. Goodbye.